Hi, welcome to Brain Wrestling. I am Derek Christopher, and of course, I am here with Walter Jacobson. How are you, Walter?
Greetings, doing well, thanks.
Okay, so now I think from now on,
Yeah.
I'm going to identify as a lion. So I would like you to now refer to me as the king
Okay.
and your majesty.
Okay.
And when we're driving around, I'm going to show you that this is all my kingdom.
Okay.
And if you don't, I'm going to be very upset because then I'm going to think you're pet phobic.
Right.
What do you think of that? Is that okay with you?
No.
Why?
So I take it you're referring to the fact that there was some big issue about a kid who wanted to declare in school that he was a cat or something?
Yeah. So in England now, they're saying that there are a lot of kids that want to identify as animals.
Okay.
And that teachers and parents should go along with it.
Okay, so this shows you what a slippery slope we got here. Is that when you start to like go insane in terms of like defying reality, you know, by saying I'm a woman when you're a man and all that kind of crap, and now you're like an animal, and next you're going to be like a table. I mean, it's just nuts. It just shows the permissiveness of insanity, and that there's no adult in the room, and people have to start saying no to these idiots who are indulging kids. Kids can't make any decisions about anything at their age.
But why don't they do it? Why do we allow that? I mean, when I was a kid, I wanted to be Batman, and I dressed up as Batman. I never thought I was fucking Batman, though, and I never said you have to call me Bruce Wayne or you have to call me Batman. I mean, it's madness. But at what point do we sit there and say to the kids, you know, stop being an idiot? You're not a duck. You're not a fucking cat. And stop being a mental patient.
Yeah, I think you do have to say to your kid, hey, look, I understand that you have an affinity with cats, and that's nice, but we need to stick to reality. You're a boy, and let's stay with that. But I have a... Okay, what?
Well, I was going to say, you know what they call it? It's not a persona. They call it a fursona.
A what?
A fursona. F-U-R. Fursona. Which actually is pretty good.
Yeah, it's good if you live in a cartoon land.
I got this something. If an 8-year-old came up to me and said, my fursona is, I go, you know, the fact that an 8-year-old said fursona, okay, you can be a fucking cat. I don't care then.
Well, you know, I've been thinking about why our schools are allowing all this stuff. Why did they allow all this woke stuff? You know, why do they allow this trans stuff? Why do they allow this critical race theory stuff? They're not teaching the kids to read, write, think, or do math, but they're doing all this stuff. Why? They want to make our kids stupid because when they're stupid, they can be controlled. When they grow up and become adults who are ignorant and illiterate, they can be controlled.
But
that's what this is all about.
But that can only come from pressure. So where's that pressure coming from? Because when I was growing up, and I'm sure when you were growing up, we learned English, math, the basics. We didn't talk about our other identity, or we didn't talk about our teachers' sexual lives.
Okay, where it's coming from is the far left want control and power.
Why is it the far left? Explain to me why you think the far left
because
wants
they're the
this.
ones pushing this whole woke agenda, this entire agenda of stuffing down our throats stuff that makes no sense and that's premature at best. I mean, the fact that...
But you know what? I remember not even that long ago that I would see parents with their children, and their kids would be having a temper tantrum, if I can get my words out, on the floor. And I would look at them like, well, are you going to do something? Well, I said, no, you know, you got to let him express himself. I remember once as a kid, my neighbors, they had 2 young sons. One was like 8, one was 5. They got in their station wagon. And they got on the freeway on the on-ramp, and the youngest kid was sitting in the back. The door opened, the kid fell out, got all smashed up, got his face all marked up. Parents pulled over, stopped. They yelled at the kid, get back in the car. What's wrong with you? Blah, blah. And it's like, you know what? And the kid got up, went back in the car, and he was totally fine.
Okay, so this speaks to the fact that it's a double problem. The problem with the schools and then problems with parents. I mean, as you pointed out, parents can be overly permissive and actually damage their kids. But that's been the way forever. Parents are dysfunctional and then the kids become dysfunctional.
But where does it go, though? So if you're 8 years old and you think you're a cat, and I've seen adults like this. I've seen adults where they wear the little kitty ears or they put on something around their wrist and they're like licking themselves. And it's just like, this is so fucked up.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, just the fact that I was seeing this Dylan Mulvaney guy, and he's prancing around, and he's a
victim now.
Yeah, but he's a guy who's just pretending to be a woman and making a lot of money at it.
And I think he mocks women.
He
The w-
absolutely mocked.
the
No
way he
woman looks.
behaves.
No woman looks like that
No.
or acts like that.
And they'll be like, a bit light. It's like nobody fucking acts like that.
Yeah.
Unless you're mental.
Yeah. There's a possibility there, but yeah, people have these fantasies, and now there seems to be a license to be insane, to be like way over the top.
But why do they do it? Why do they get so much support in social media? Now it seems like finally people are fighting back against the corporations, but in social media, these people are become stars and they're made millionaires. And I don't understand. Why are they so entertaining? Why do we have such a fascination with this sector of society?
Well,
especially because it's such a small sector of society.
I just think that people are really stupid. Okay?
Well, we know that. We know people are stupid,
and they'll buy into anything. And we're now into this like 10-second click. You click, you look, you click, you look. So if something just fascinates you, they get caught up in fascination, and then they get drawn into it. And then their peers they share, and then their peers say, "Isn't this great?" And it's all sort of like a mass hysteria.
But there's got to be something that appeals in it to people, that they get drawn in, they get sucked in, that they watch. Like Dylan McVaney. Why do people watch that? I mean, I don't get it. I've seen a couple of clips and I go, well, what's entertaining about this? He's not a broadcaster. He's not that smart. I don't understand it. I mean, from a psychiatric point of view.
I just think people's thirst for like absurdity is huge. I mean, you that Jackass show where people would drive their car.
I love Jackass.
I know, but they would.
But you know what? The difference is I'm not running my car into a wall. I'm not going to take a shit in the toilet at Home Depot. I mean, that's the difference. I have the common sense that I see it on TV. It's entertaining, but I'm not going to do that myself.
Yeah. Well, I think it really comes down to, again, parents have no idea what their kids are up to, what they're thinking, what they're doing, et cetera. And the schools have this woke agenda coming from on high. You mentioned like where is it coming from? The far left. It is, and they're fascists, and they want to control us, and they want to stay in power.
But you have 50% that aren't woke. I mean, if you look at the country, it's 50% liberal, 50% conservative. Why do the liberals get so much more?
Because the media, the mainstream media, is with them on this. So they screen out all this stuff that makes sense, and they promote all this other stuff, saying it's like equity and inclusion and the decent right thing to do, and it's all just reinforced by the media. So the truth never gets out.
Now, did you see that this 15-year-old in Washington State, is suing the insurance company because they denied him top surgery, that he wants to have surgery, and the insurance company denied it and said, "You're 15. We're not going to allow this." And now the parents are also involved because it's actually the dad's insurance policy where they're suing the insurance company.
Oh, the dad's on board with that?
The dad's on board with the parents are on board with this.
Oh, the parents have given consent?
Yeah.
Wow, that's just crazy.
So what happens? What's the precedent set if they win this class action lawsuit and it's allowed to happen, and a 15-year-old is allowed to make a decision that's going to affect the rest of his life?
Well, the problem is that in this case, the parents have given parental consent. So, I mean, that's different from the kid trying to sue on his own.
But, in California now also, that if you're 12 to 17, you don't need to get your parents' permission anymore to get advisement.
I just don't know where people are going with this, why they insist on doing this. When kids, it's so clear that kids do not have the emotional or intellectual capacity to even understand what they're feeling, let alone what they're doing.
Do you care, really? Let's say you're 15 years old and your friend is a guy and he wants to dress up as a woman. He wants to pretend he's a woman. Would you really care?
I would be concerned.
But you'd be concerned. But would you care? Would you expect him to jump on a soapbox and say, "I demand that you call me this. I demand this. I demand." It was never like that before. Right. It's like if you wanted to pretend you were somebody else, you did. And if it lasted for a longer time, it lasted. No one gave a shit. I don't give a shit. You want to dress up as a woman? I don't care. You want to get gender affirming surgery? Fine. I don't care. Don't make a big fucking deal about it, though.
I just think there's an effort on the part of our government to destabilize our country, top to bottom, every which way.
No pun intended.
Yes, I just think that, and I don't understand it because.
So the government is giving us top surgery and bottom surgery.
No, I think that there's a very strong effort to just destabilize society, and
By accepting everybody's little whim and wish.
yeah, just creating chaos and confusion and division.
Well, this is what we talked about before. When you don't have rules and you don't have a plan to go by, chaos ensues. And you have to have, I mean, there were always rules that you had to follow. And not everybody did, but not everybody made a big deal about it. And not everybody was a fucking victim. Everybody's a victim these days.
Yeah, and everybody's way too sensitive, and there's just no adults in the room. And everyone, any adult, most adults are afraid to even speak up and challenge this stuff. That's the sad part about it, because they're afraid of getting canceled.
So what happens when this 15-year-old, when he's all of a sudden 17, goes, I don't know what I was thinking. I can't believe I did this, and I had surgery. I can't go back. What do I do?
Yeah, he's going to be depressed and probably kill himself. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Yeah, very optimistic there.
Well, I'm telling you, there's going to be a large percentage of kids who do regret it.
And where do they go for support then? Are they going to go to the trans community? Are they going to go to the straight community? Who do they go to for support?
Yeah, the trans community is abandoning these people because they no longer serve their purpose.
Now, how do you know they're abandoning these people?
There was an article that said that people who had transitioned and regretted it, and then went to the community to help them figure out how to get something back. You know, how to restore what they had. It's like, there's nothing to see here, folks.
So basically, they toss them aside like garbage.
Yeah, exactly. But
how horrible is that?
It's terrible. If
anybody needs their support, that's the time they need the support.
It's not because it's not actually about, again, it's people are fodder for the ultimate plan that this trans community has. So people are just pawns and objects for their purposes. They don't care about the people. They don't actually care about people transitioning. All they care about, again, is power. Like the Black Lives Matter. These people created this whole Black Lives Matter thing. It was all about getting a lot of money, and they could buy mansions.
Meanwhile, yeah, I was saying the person who ran it bought $1 million mansion in Topanga.
Yeah. So that's what this is really all about, a money grab. It's always money. Follow the money.
But now there was an article, I think it was in Psychology Today, that said it is actually detrimental to children if you don't affirm their gender.
Okay, that's bullshit. Okay, if you don't affirm their gender, you work with them to understand why you're not affirming their gender. You help the child understand emotionally why they're feeling what they're feeling, why they're confused, why they have these questions, and why they need more time to think about it and evolve and grow. And when they're 18, if they want to go do it, do it. But right now, you're too young.
Should insurance pay for it?
No, it's not. It's elective surgery. It's not like.
But that's what this 15-year-old is arguing over, that it should be paid for by insurance.
I know, but they're claiming that this is the medical necessity, but there isn't, and that's why the insurance is denying it. There's no medical necessity here. This is elective surgery, like getting a facelift. Okay, that's what it is.
Wait, insurance not going to cover my facelift? So
I'll put in a call.
I can get my dick removed. But I can't get the bags under my eyes lifted.
Well, you're going to have to pay for it.
How fucked up is that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The insurance company does have a leg to stand on in terms of medical necessity. And I think this obviously will be a precedent case one way or the other. But also, all the suing, eventually it goes to the Supreme Court, right? And then the Supreme Court decides, and then everybody hates the Supreme Court and wants to pack the court because they're evil and don't understand. The Supreme Court justices don't understand the Constitution. That's what it comes down to. Biden's saying the court is wrong. The court is wrong. By the way, that's what I really resent about Biden. As a president, he should say, this is our system. This is our democracy. You may not agree.
Just like Trump did with the election when he lost 60 cases. He should say, this is our system. This is our court system. And we should accept it for what it is.
Yes.
Okay. So you're saying now that Trump lost the election.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
I don't know if that's true, but...
But he should accept the court settlements.
He should accept
and move on.
Yes.
Okay. And speaking of moving on, we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
So go ahead, wrap it up. Wait, if you had a persona, what would it be?
What?
What would your persona be?
You mean like an animal?
Animal. What animal would you be?
I'd probably be a dog. I love dogs.
Dogs? What kind of dog?
A Chihuahua.
Why a Chihuahua?
I love Chihuahuas. I got a little Chihuahua.
See, and I'd be a lion, and I would eat the Chihuahua.
Thank you.
Yeah, on that note, thanks for joining us. For Walter Jacobson, I'm Derek Christopher. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.